right, good evening everybody. Welcome back to Walks on Wall Street. Today is Saturday. It is September 9th, 2023. It is a gorgeous day in Midtown Manhattan. Now, we're reporting live from the corner of 57th Street and Park Avenue. And right across the street, right here, check this out. For those of you who don't know, this is the old Four Seasons Hotel, which is a 5-star luxurious hotel in New York. But here's the crazy thing. It closed down due to the big C, right, COVID, and it's never opened up since. So you have this, one of the greatest hotels in the entire world, ultra luxury hotel, and it is absolutely vacant, the entire thing, and it's still closed for operation. Now, I believe, and I'm not sure the exact story, but what I think is going on is the owner is having a feud with the city about property taxes, something to that effect. But there's a really good article about it. I haven't read it in a while. If you just Google or search for Four Seasons Hotel, 57th Street, Billionaires Row, New York City, I'm sure you will see it. But it's kind of crazy to think about, right? It looks very ominous, this shot. Not one single light is on in the entire building. Imagine walking around all those hotel rooms. There's just furniture everywhere and everything looks nice, but nobody's using it. Super strange. Anyway, so today we're going to be walking down 5th Avenue. We're going to be doing pretty much a tour of Midtown Manhattan. We're going to be taking it easy tonight. Obviously on Saturdays is kind of just our days to hang out, walk around. Not going to be too heavy on the financial topics. And then on Sunday is going to be the Markets a Look Ahead live stream. So hopefully everybody is having a fantastic weekend so far, wherever you are tuning in from. So I'm going to go ahead and close up the laptop here. I'll say hello to everybody in the chat, and then we will do a quick walk around the block. We'll take a look at the Aston Martin showroom, Park Avenue, 432 Park. And if we have time, which I think we will, I want to take you all inside the flagship Apple store on 5th Avenue, just outside of the GM building. I think it'll be cool to do a quick walk around because obviously we are in big anticipation of the new iPhone release. We talked about that yesterday. Whoa, look at all these lantern flies on that railing. I didn't notice I'm sitting on like a spotted lanternfly graveyard here. There's like thousands of these things all around. Anyway, we'll do that. So I'll go ahead, put the phone down, close up the laptop, and we'll get started here. All right, happy Saturday, everybody. Let's see who we have in the chat. I see Colton Manning, what's up? Says I'm first. Jafet Perez, welcome. The Ellery one, D is here, says good Saturday evening. Michael Vosper is joining us. Daniel by the book, British Gray, David B says happy Saturday, everybody. And Tom Larry Van D, good to see you. Francis Palmer, hope you're having a good one. RCE Goat, John Abraham, thanks for joining us. Sunshine after rain. Our good friend Joe is here, says it's 116 degrees in Phoenix, Arizona. Oh my God, it's wild. Heat wave broke in New York. Depending on who you ask, that's a good thing. It was raining a little bit today in the city, very humid day, but it feels nice. It's actually kind of cool in the city. We are standing in the corner of 57th Street and Park Avenue outside of the Aston Martin showroom, which we've walked past a couple times on the live stream. I think the last time some viewers in the chat were advising us that this car is worth like, hey, 456 says I'm 3 avenues away next to the Whole Foods. So I'm assuming you mean Columbus Circle, right? Nice. In the Deutsche Bank Center. Let us know what you're getting there. And let us know how the prices are. We are now making a right on Park Avenue. All the way in the distance, you can see the MetLife building. But this is 425 Park Avenue, which is the newest Class A office tower on Park. Hey, Boone says, hey, says Tom, Berlin City, Germany is back in your stream. Looking forward to a great walk. Whoa, that is so cool. Well, greetings everybody from Germany, particularly Berlin. That is super cool. I would love to visit Germany one day. Maybe we will. Maybe we'll make it happen. Spooky Ducks says, greetings from Richmond, Virginia. Good to see you. You're shopping on 3rd Avenue. I didn't know there was a Whole Foods over there. I'm trying to think where that is. It's probably near, what, the Home Depot, things like that over there. All right, well, let's head towards 5th. So we'll pass 432 Park Avenue. We'll check in on it. We'll see how it's doing. We'll walk past the Trump Tower, and then we will go to the flagship Apple store, which is right in front of the GM building, right there. Now, we talked about this a little bit on last night's stream. There's some news out of China, particularly the CCP. So this is a shot of 432 Park Avenue, and that is the Four Seasons Hotel that is completely vacant, which is wild. So here's essentially what's going on. All government employees, according to the CCP, they are no longer authorized or allowed to use and operate iPhones. Government employees. Now, if you think about the percentage of revenue, as we look at the main entrance of 432 Park right here, Apple gets about 18% of all of their revenue from China. That includes mainland China, Hong Kong, and the like. And I've been reading a lot of articles, particularly on Market Watch, The Motley Fool, which is a very good publication, by the way. I'm not sure if you've heard of The Motley Fool before. Very good publication. I would recommend it. And there's been a lot of these articles claiming, or I shouldn't really say claiming, maybe just making statements that it's possible that there'll be an outright ban on Apple products in China. I just really don't see that happening. Now, not to sound like beating a dead horse here. This is such a cool shot of 432. It almost looks like Gotham City. Wow. Now, Evan Weeks makes a really good comment. He says the building disappears into the clouds. You're correct. We cannot see the top of the building. That's how tall it is. It's literally inside the clouds. That is such a cool shot. I can only imagine what the view is like up there, right? And sometimes in the city, so this is what I'm wondering the most about 432 and Central Park Tower. Now, sometimes it'll be very, very foggy and cloudy in New York. And when you're on the street level, it seems dark, right? It seems very ominous. On the street level, you can't really see anything. But sometimes these skyscrapers will sit above the cloud line. So it's essentially like being in an airplane, right? If you've ever taken off at JFK or really anywhere in the country, and it's raining and it's foggy and it's nasty, and then once you get to 30,000 feet or wherever, even like 2,000 feet, it's sunny. I wonder what that must be like up there on those select days. You're like, oh, it's super sunny. And then you come down to the street level, you're like, wait, why is it all foggy? It's wild. I can't even wrap my head around that. It's insane. But anyway, hey, AB1 says, Tom, will you be upgrading your iPhone this year? I don't think so. I don't know. It's about a 90% chance I'm going to say no. I mean, what about you guys? Because from my understanding, Apple designs their phones to have an upgrade cycle every 3 years, right? Now, Apple has also been fined a lot of money because all of our, I would say, theories have actually come true, as you're looking at a cool shot of 270 Park Avenue and 1 Vanderbilt, that Apple has been designing some of their products to deteriorate over time to force you to upgrade. But I don't know, I mean, just jumping back to the China topic real quick, the majority of the production of Apple products happens in China. So I find it very, very hard to believe that the Chinese government would just outlaw it altogether, because that would cripple their economy and destroy tons of jobs. And it just wouldn't even make sense. Now, are they probably, you know, are they trying to steer their citizens towards using, you know, Chinese products, like Huawei products? Of course, right? Of course. There was some video circulating on Twitter, now, I guess formerly known as Twitter, now known as X, of a Chinese shopping mall. Have you guys seen this? I mean, this is totally anecdotal data, but I still think it's important to pay attention to. And in the Chinese shopping mall, the Apple store was totally dead. It was like vacant. And right across the way, the Huawei store was incredibly packed. So, you know, whatever the CCP says, I mean, people really do. Now, they're not outright banning Apple products. They're just banning it for employees, like government employees. So it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. Hey, Cars and Sports is here, says, hey, what's up? We are now passing by the Trump Tower, 721 5th Avenue. Now, for all of those new viewers, I'll just quickly explain something here. So this is the Trump Tower. This is a multi-use building. You have your residential, you have your retail, and you also have office. On the 56th Street side, this is where the residences go in. So if you own a condo here, if you're renting a condo, you come in right here on this side. Actually, very close to the grill. This is sort of like the bar, 45 bar. It's like a whiskey and wine bar. Which is a little bit ironic, because isn't the main, or I should say one of the main claims is that Trump doesn't drink, but he has a presidential themed bar. Anyway, oh, that was a really cool shot. Let me show you that. We often do tours of Billionaires Row, which we'll also be doing tonight. Look at this. Many people don't know, this is 53 West 53rd. Technically not on Billionaires Row, right? When you think of Billionaires Row, you think 57th Street, starting right about Park Avenue, going over to Columbus Circle. But this building right here, 53 West 53rd, is included in that Billionaires Row package due to all of the amenities, the price points, and the views. I believe 2 or 3 streams ago, we did a little bit of a walking tour near the restaurant there. I don't know if we'll have time to do that tonight, but... So this is probably what you've seen on The Apprentice on TV, and maybe if you were visiting New York, this is probably where you walked in. This is the entrance to not the condominiums, but the retail and the restaurant. And it's open to the public from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Brad's Brain says someday we should walk in Trump Tower. It's a bit of a bucket list item for me. All right, let's do it. I don't know how the internet is. We'll give it a go. It's Saturday. For Brad's Brain, we'll do it. Let's do it. Okay, so this is the inside of the Trump Tower. And one of the biggest compliments I would give to this building is the air conditioning is always cranked up to the max, which is great. Here you have the Gucci store. And then you have this big American flag. The internet may start buffering, which I do apologize for, but we will check it out anyway. So you come in through these big grand entrances. Usually they do have a doorman here. I think they're getting ready to close it down, shut down for the night. But let me know in the chat if we start to buffer. Now, coming off to the right, you'll see the iconic President of the United States, 45, Donald J. Trump. You'll have all the Air Force, Marines, Navy, Space Force. Wow, I never actually seen a physical Space Force flag before. U.S. Coast Guard. And this is sort of the bar area. This is the iconic escalator where, you know, Trump announced, I guess, he was running for president. This is the waterfall. It's not in operation right now, but usually there's water pouring out from underneath. I have actually eaten in the downstairs restaurant a few times, which is actually really good. It's called the Trump Grill. So on the lower level, you have the grill, you have like an ice cream shop, and then under us, but I don't think we can do that in there because the internet's not going to be good. Directly under us is their like pizza kitchen, which is pretty decent as well. This used to be a Starbucks, actually, right here. Now, my office is right as you walk out this door, and it's across the street. So pretty much every day I'm walking through this building, and I actually have seen Eric Trump quite a bit. This is where he works. But yeah, I mean, regardless of, you know, political interests, I think it'd be interesting to show this to all of you. It is one of, you know, a very iconic building on Fifth Avenue, and I don't think I've ever taken you guys in here, I don't think. So yeah, just one more shot. These are the elevator banks, which will take you to the office sort of portion of the building. This used to be a Starbucks back in the day, and then as you make that right by those two escalators, that is the presidential bar and wine bar. The prices aren't too bad for the restaurant, and the restaurant's actually not bad at all. It's pretty good food. Okay, let's head back out. You know, I'm surprised the internet held up. So what'd you guys think? Let me know in the comments. You know, Saturday nights are usually for doing things off the beaten path a little bit, so I thought that was a cool tour. Maybe we'll try to find a different like hotel or something. Maybe every Saturday night on the live stream, I'll try to get access to an interesting building. Maybe we could walk the Park Hyatt at 157, maybe the Aman Hotel. Hey, thank you so much for your very kind donations. Is all good night and good luck. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Life, Liberty, and Guns is here. Thank you for joining. Rusty says that was cool. Thank you. No problem, Rusty. Bum says, let's see the bathrooms. The bathrooms are all the way in the basement, and I know for a fact we're not going to get internet down there. Maybe I would have to leave that for a standalone walking video. So we are now back outside. I'll quickly explain where we are just so we could orient each other here. This is 5th Avenue and 57th Street. We are right now looking west. So notice all of those buildings on Billionaires Row, Steinway Tower, 157, Central Park Tower. And if we turn the camera a little bit over to the left, the building that you're looking at right now is one of the most expensive and luxurious hotels in all of New York City. It is called Aman, and I believe it is a Japanese branded luxury hotel, and they have sort of destination locations. I guess that's how I could explain it. And that is the New York location right here. All of the scaffolding is now down. They were doing some serious restoration on the building, so the facade looks great, and it is adjacent the Louis Vuitton building, which obviously is owned by LVMH. Hey Sally, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Jay Grant, welcome. Since we got the light, we'll cross over this side. But we're gonna head uptown a little bit because I'm gonna take you inside the flagship 5th Avenue Apple store that sits right outside the GM building. And this is the Tiffany & Co. building. This just went under a $500 million renovation, so a $500 million reno right here. And 3 days after they had the grand opening at Tiffany, there was unfortunately a fire in the basement that was caused by faulty electrical, and it caused significant damage. Thank God nobody was hurt, thank God. We are now crossing 57th Street northbound. In the distance, you can see the iconic Sherry Netherlands Hotel. I think since it's Saturday, I'm gonna ask one of the doormen if we could just do a quick walking tour of the lobby inside the Sherry Netherlands. Can't hurt, right? The reason why we always talk about the Sherry Netherlands on the live stream on Walks from Wall Street is because one of my favorite investment books of all time is called Reminiscences of a Stock Operator, and it is based upon the life of Jesse Livermore. So back in the day when he used to trade stocks down on Wall Street in all the bucket shops, after he made all his money or lost all his money, depending on which day it was, this is a fantastic shot of the American flag and the Sherry Netherlands. Anyway, he would come back up to Central Park South on the east side, and he would have a drink in the Sherry Netherlands right at the bar here. So we'll check it out. We'll go to the Apple store first just because we're covering that China news. We're gonna cover it a little bit more in depth next week. But Apple stock took a pretty big hit on that news. It's mainly recovered, but we'll see if it has any legs. Next week, it's rumored that we're going to get the official announcement of the iPhone 15. A bold thing that Apple may be doing. Now again, remember, any talk about pricing on the iPhone is all rumors. You know, unless Apple specifically announces it, it's just totally a rumor. But allegedly, they're going to be increasing prices on their premium line of products. So you can think about the Max and the Pro Max by about $300. I'm not sure if that's too good of a move to do, particularly in this economic environment, but we'll see. Rumors for the price increase is due to obviously increased raw materials costs, particularly aluminum. And that is one more shot of 432 Park Avenue. Oh wow, DH 2022 says I slept on the sidewalk in 20-degree weather waiting for the overnight product launch. Wow. That's wild. For those new viewers to Walks from Wall Street, I'll just quickly give an explanation of the flagship store on 5th Avenue. You see all of these sort of little mushroom looking things right here? These are actually windows to let in natural sunlight into the Apple store. So as I turn the camera down, you can actually see people shopping. Now, it was just raining, so you really can't see, but there's some iPads there. I think if we go over a couple more people will be there because these are the iPhones. You can see customers getting serviced. It's a really unique and cool design. And when we go down, I'm actually going to take you inside the Apple store now. They designed it as like a core of an Apple. So in the core is the elevator, and then you have that spiral staircase. But I'm going to take you down through the side entrance just because that's one of the underexplored areas of the Apple store. I'll take you to the Dior store first, which is right here. It has this cool little design on the front. Hey, Gary Carpenter, what's up? Life, Liberty, and Guns. Welcome. Look at that. I don't even know what that you would call that. It's some sort of design. The Dior store. Hey, Atomic Punk NYC. Welcome. Sat 12 says, walks from Wall Street. So is the immigrant crisis going to make New York worse than the 80s? We've talked about that ad nauseum. And I know not everybody can be, tuned into the live stream all the time, but I've covered that very, very extensively. So I don't want to make it seem like I'm brushing your comment off. I'm not. But we've covered that like really, really like hammered on it. We've gone into all the financials. We've talked about the deficit to the T. We've talked about the budget, everything. And we did that last night's live stream and the night before. So maybe we'll let a couple streams go by before we have that conversation again. But to your point, it's a very important topic to address, but we've just been addressing it almost every night here. I'll take you guys down into the Apple store now. I always like standing here because this is a really cool shot of New York City's Billionaires Row and the Plaza Hotel. So this is the side entrance. Very, very seldom do people actually use it. Ooh, I could already feel the air conditioning. All right, I want to welcome everybody to the Apple Store, the flagship on 5th Avenue. So these are those solar lights I was telling you about. So this is actually what we were looking through when we were standing upstairs. So you have all of the MacBook Airs, the iMacs, iPads, and this is that big spiral staircase. If you walk all the way to the back, this is actually where you have the demos. I'm trying to read what they have up now. Oh, it's like a workshop. So they teach you how to use all of the equipment. I think they're actually giving a lesson now. Let's try to listen in and see what's going on.
All right, we're gonna try it.
Drawing with Apple Pencil. Yeah, they give classes on all the products.
All right, big round of applause. Isabel's not putting her hand up in the air, but do you want to come up and take a photo with your art?
Hey, RB, welcome to the Apple Store on 5th Avenue.
I really love the sort of flow and the texture of this. It's really beautiful. Excellent work.
Isn't it wild that it's almost
right.
10:30 at night?
Our next artist,
and it feels like it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay. Yeah, use your phone. You got it. No worries. No worries. All right. Our next artist coming up. Hand in the air if this is you. Hey, big round of applause. Very nice. Excellent work. I love this very, very Mario, right? We got sort of the womp plots and bullet bill all hanging out there. Oh, that's okay.
Anybody have these air tags?
Do you want to have your photo taken with it?
Every time I'm on the airplane, I always get thousands of notifications that there's an air tag near me.
Yeah, really cool stuff.
Yeah, Michael J says, I can't believe this location's open 24/7. It is. 24/7, 365, even on Christmas, I believe.
Excellent. Very cool. Another round of applause. Thank you very much.
All right, so we'll head out the other side, and this will take us right outside by the Sherry Netherland.
I really love this. I really like just it's very simple lines, really clear. We can tell who it is. Big round of applause. Very nice area. Peek out from underneath.
All right, one more panoramic look of the store.
All right, and last but certainly not least, whoa! Big round of applause.
All right, let's head out.
That was amazing. Good work. I love all the hearts. I think the nose is kind of a heart too. This is fantastic.
So hopefully, we'll be having some news about the new iPhone release and the pricing. A lot of analysts on Wall Street, are penciling in an expansion of gross margin due to the price increases. So we'll see if consumer demand will keep up. Who knows? Now, is anybody in the chat planning on upgrading and getting the new iPhone 15? I feel like, well, we don't know what the features are, but supposedly the main feature is going to be the 10x zoom on the camera, which I don't think I need. So I think I'll stick with my iPhone 13. Hey, Cars and Sports says, what are your thoughts on the Vision Pro? So I think it's going to be I wouldn't say a flop. I think the Vision Pro was made exclusively for Apple, how should I say this, maximalists, right? You know how we talk about like a Bitcoin maximalist? I really do believe that the Apple Vision Pro right now was made for Apple maximalists, because the masses are not going to spend $3,500 on a headset, but really crazy Apple enthusiasts will. So the theory there is if they do spend that $3,500, they're going to critique it, they're going to provide feedback, and then they're going to make the product better. I will add on and say this. The main competitor is the Meta Quest. And it is my view that Meta does horrible marketing for their products. That's just my view. When I watched the Apple marketing commercial / video, this is the Plaza Hotel, by the way, for their new device, it was insane. It was like insane. Nobody does marketing better than Apple, and I don't even know if Apple's product is better than the Quest, but there's an old saying in marketing that goes something like this. It doesn't matter how good your product is. You could have the best product or service in the world, but if nobody knows about it, nobody's gonna buy it. And I have no idea even what the Meta Quest looks like, but I know what the Apple Vision Pro looks like. This is the Sherry Netherland. Man, does that look cool in there. Wow, Spooky Duck product. Yeah, Cars. All right, this is now walking towards the Upper East Side. This is East 60th Street and 5th Avenue. Are we still buffering? Let me try to fix that. You know, Evan Weeks, I noticed that too. Every time we're standing on this corner of 5th Avenue, it does buffer. This is an amazing shot at Billionaires Row. You have 220 Central Park South with the gold top, Central Park Tower, 157, and the Steinway building. Since we have the light, we'll cross and then we'll head downtown. Ethan R., welcome. Thanks for joining. We are now at Central Park. Hey, NYC Cherry Groove, what is going on? Thank you for joining us tonight on this beautiful Saturday in New York. Hey, Boone, yeah, if you want to see what I look like, just click the link in the description and it'll take you to my bio. So that is the spire for One Vanderbilt. And this big black building right here is the Trump Tower, where we just came from. We were in the lobby. Yeah, by the book. You do have your monthly maintenance. Depending on the square footage of your unit and the like. But some of the taxes on the buildings, in select buildings on Billionaires Row, are actually not bad because they have tax abatements and the like. This is a pretty cool shot of the horse and carriage right outside of the Plaza Hotel. Hey, JF, this is Tom. I'm a marketing major, and you are correct. Even McDonald's still invests in marketing. Yeah, I mean, I just think that Apple made a much better presentation for their product. It looked professional, it looked sleek, it looked amazing, and it kind of made me want to buy it, and I don't even want it. The Vision Pro. For those of you who have not seen the advertisement for the Apple Vision Pro, you got to watch that thing. It's crazy. Even if you're not interested in the technology at all, if you watch it, it's gonna pique your interest. It is so well done. It's fantastic. Hey, Gary Carpenter's here. What is going on? Sabrina Fair, welcome. Yeah, Kevin, there's definitely tax loopholes for the rich here in the United States. I think the biggest one is the carried interest law, which will never go away. It's always argued about, but carried interest will never, ever, ever go away in a million years. There's just, because all of the donors, right, all of the Wall Street, private equity, venture capital donors to both the Republican and the Democrat Party, they want it. And that's not gonna, that's really the only thing that would really move the needle, is if you got rid of the carried interest. But that will never go away. It will never go away. So this is the residences of the Plaza Hotel. Look at how beautiful this place is. You're able to buy condominiums and actually even rent in the Plaza. And it's also New York City Fashion Week. But if you are all enjoying the live stream so far tonight, feel free to leave a like on the video and click the subscribe button if you're new. We do these live streams usually starting at about 8:30. Days Works is Legendary Hotel. Has anybody in the chat ever stayed at the Plaza? I've never stayed at the Plaza Hotel before. Tofu Shoots is the New York City has endless photo opportunities. Yeah, it does. You could probably spend 2 weeks in New York City and not even hit all of the most photographed places. Now, I'll give you a tip for all those photographers. Check out the Manhattan Bridge. I think some of the best views of Lower Manhattan is not from the Brooklyn Bridge. I would actually argue it's from the Manhattan Bridge. So check it out. I think you're gonna like it. This is Sarah Beth's. They also have a location on the Upper West Side. I think it's a tad bit, I think it's a tad bit overrated. Just gonna be honest. Gotta keep it honest. My favorite breakfast place of all time. Now pay attention, I would write this down, particularly if you're planning on visiting New York anytime soon. And maybe you're looking to move to New York City. Here is by far the best spot in the city, in Manhattan rather, for breakfast food. It's on the Upper West Side of Manhattan, and it is called Good Enough to Eat. That place is unbelievable, okay? So once again, it's called Good Enough to Eat. This is 50 Central Park South. This is the Ritz-Carlton Residences. Right here is the Ritz-Carlton Hotel. And just like all of the other hotels in the city, you are able to buy and purchase a unit right here. One of the most notable real estate brokers and most successful brokers in Manhattan, Noble Black, currently has a really beautiful listing at 50 Central Park South. And next week, maybe I'll get access and do a little bit of a tour and upload it so all of you can see it. This is now Avenue of the Americas, Central Park South. This is one of the main entrances to Central Park. You can see all the horse and buggies. Joseph Hardaway, thanks for joining us. We are now crossing over by 106 Central Park South. We're gonna head down 6th Avenue tonight. There's gonna be a lot of cool and interesting things to see down here. We'll head right into Radio City Music Hall, Rockefeller Center, 53 West 53rd, which is right there. That's the top of it. Brad's Brains says, are we near the Dakota? Not really. So this is technically Central Park South, 59th Street. We're headed southbound. The Dakota is 72nd Street and Central Park West. That's an amazing building. We've been up there before on the live stream, but very seldom do we go up there just because it's too dark. This hotel is always pretty busy. It has a nice restaurant in the lobby. $25.48 says, do you ever drive there or do you just take the subway? Very, very seldom do I drive, almost never. Just because it's a pain. I mean, driving in the city is such a pain in the you-know-what. You gotta park the car, you gotta pay for parking, you gotta worry about people vandalizing it, and now you have the congestion pricing. So even if you drive your vehicle in Manhattan, well, guess what? You have to pay an additional toll and an additional fare to go below 60th Street. So I think a car is such a disaster to have in New York City. Hey, JC, thank you so much for your donations. It's a great walk. Thank you for showing us the Trump Tower plus the Apple Store earlier. Always curious how it looked. Keep stacking those Satoshis. I will. Thank you very much for that. This is the main drag here on New York City's Billionaires Row. Here you have the Steinway Tower, which is the skinniest residential apartment building in the entire world. Soho architects. We'll walk down a little bit more just so I can give you a better view, because the clouds look really cool tonight in contrast with the building. Okay, check this out. We now have a pretty dead-on view. 111 West 57th Street. Wow. Now that is a 10 out of 10 shot right there. And as we pan the camera over, this is 157 and behind it is Central Park Tower. Those are two Extel developments. Spooky Duck says, Tom, what are your thoughts on living in Weehawken, New Jersey if you work in Manhattan? I think my next job will be there. Oh, well, congratulations on your new job. That's awesome. That's an amazing accomplishment, and I think you'll do really well there. Even though I don't even know what you're doing, I'm confident you'll do very well. I'm not a big fan of New Jersey, but that's just more of a preference thing. Some people really do like it. I just think it's a little bit too far away from all the action. This looks like it's some sort of a Fashion Week after party event. I love just people watching and seeing people having a good time. Is that weird to say? I don't know. People watching is just a really cool hobby. You see people having a good time. Everybody's out and about. It's good vibes all around. But I don't know. I believe that if you're young, right? And maybe if it's your first job out of college, live in the action. Live on the island of Manhattan or in just a major big city. I think you'd regret it if you don't. But it sounds like this job, you're gonna be working in Weehawken. So do what you gotta do, I guess. Enjoy the declines. You gotta watch American Psycho. You are literally Patrick Bateman. I've never watched the show. I mean, I never watched the movie. But I know it's about like a crazy guy who works in Manhattan and kills people. Something like that. I'm not a big movie guy. Oh, this is horrible. Oh, I can't even show that. That's breaking my heart a little bit, guys. Look at this. My favorite building on Billionaires Row is now encapsulated in this egregious scaffolding. Oh man, what a shame. So 157, where this couple is walking out those doors, that is the Park Hyatt New York. That is a ultra luxury 5-star hotel in Manhattan. Now, if we turn the camera a little bit over to the left, that is the residences at 157. There's a saltwater swimming pool, there's a gym, there's 24/7, 365 catering and room service, not only for the hotel, but for the residences as well. And you have unobstructed views of Central Park. It's my favorite building on Billionaires Row because it's the first. And I love the fact that since Gary Burnett built 157 West 57th Street, or 157, it really set the tone to build all of these other monstrosity type buildings, such as 432 Park Avenue, Central Park Tower, 111 West 57th Street, 220 Central Park South, and the like. I think it totally revolutionized and changed the New York City skyline. And it's really inspiring looking up and seeing those units. And you're right next to the Carnegie Hall, which is an amazing place. It looks like whoever owns that apartment's having a little bit of a party, which is great. I know, Brad's brain. So Brad has been telling me to watch this movie Trading Spaces for over a year now, and I still haven't watched it. That is top priority. So for movies, for me, it's gonna be Trading Places, right? Spaces or Places? It's gonna be the movie with Eddie Murphy, and then it's gonna be that one with the Patrick Bateman guy. But I promise you, I will watch those two movies. I can assure you of it. Hey, Connie A is here. Hey, Connie. Happy Saturday. Hopefully you're having a fantastic weekend. Says, and I am excited about... Oh, yeah. Funny. Who knows, Connie? Maybe we'll... You never know what's in store in life. Maybe one day I'll be selling you an apartment at Central Park Tower, and you're going to have an incredible view of Central Park. You never know. Don't count yourself out. Anything's possible. We do live in the United States. That's a pretty cool view of 432 Park Avenue, but one of the most iconic and legendary places in all of New York City sits right here. This is Carnegie Hall, and it is going under pretty significant restoration and renovation. So you unfortunately have all this scaffolding all around it. Lots of outdoor dining here. Junior says, Tom, Trading Places is a classic. Love watching it every year around the holidays. Well, once I get around to watching it, we're going to dedicate an entire stream to talking about it, because so many people have been recommending me this movie, and I've got to watch it. Hey, Mr. Man 26 says, Tom, apparently the movie Trading Places has become a holiday tradition in Italy. They love it. Whoa, really? Well, I am half Italian. I'm 50-50. I'm the classic, most basic Long Island, New York mix ever. Irish, Italian. I mean, is that not just the most basic, boring... Oh, you're from Long Island, New York? Are you Irish, Italian? Of course, of course. Now, since it's Saturday, any other movie recommendations that you think would be beneficial to watch? So we have the American Psycho movie, which has been recommended many times. We have the Trading Places with Eddie Murphy, who I like Eddie Murphy very much. I think he's one of the most hilarious comedians ever. We got to get a trifecta. What's another movie that's decent? Hey, Michael Joseph. It's good to see you. Thanks so much for being here. This is the front door of Central Park Tower here. Joel PM, it's good to see you. Happy Saturday. Hey, Clarence, what's up? Clarence Jackson says you need to watch Trading Places. I can assure you I will, I promise that. Smee Media, good to see you. Welcome. Clarence Jackson, I'm sure you've heard of the news about the CCP banning government employees from using Apple products or iPhones. You think there's any big weight there? I don't. Because about 18% of all of Apple's revenue comes from mainland China, as well as Hong Kong. And a lot of products are manufactured in China. So if they did an outright ban, like this Market Watch article I was reading, they're like, China could potentially do an outright ban of Apple products. It would just be shooting themselves in the foot, and it wouldn't make any sense. So, I don't know. Hey, Natasha P is here. I see Robert Brunn. Marketing Videography says Blazing Saddles. Jafet Perez says watch The Big Short. I've seen the movie. It's all right. I like it. I've seen it. Cars and Sports It says, what are your goals for the past quarter of the year? Or the last quarter? I'm gonna assume you mean the last quarter of the year. I wanna close $10 million worth of business. That's my very ambitious, crazy goal for Q4. I wanna have sold and closed $10 million worth of business. And in this environment, it's tough, especially being new, but that's what I'm shooting for. That's the goal. What about you? I guess I'll turn around and ask you guys. Any ambitious or interesting goals for Q4? We have 1 month of Q3 left, but I think it's appropriate to think about Q4. I like it. I like where your head's at. We are now walking up Broadway. This is 59. Oh, that's a really nice Tesla. See, that's what I love about Teslas. The thing is so stealth. It's so quiet. So we're walking up Broadway. This is 59th Street, Columbus Circle. It actually looks like there's a lot of traffic tonight. And at the end of Broadway is the Trump International Hotel and Tower, as well as 15 Central Park West, which is a very iconic address. Hey, Curtis is here. Hey, Curtis. Andy is here from South Korea. Welcome. Hey, Clarence Jackson, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah, we're working on some very cool projects, so I'm excited about it. Hey, Gopher Hokies says our hotel is down 45K for the quarter. We are looking to make. So you're looking to make up for that? What, I mean, it's a good goal, right? What city is that in, by the way, if you don't mind me asking? Carl Ross is telling my goal is 3 million in profits in my equity trading. That's a very good goal. Hopefully you achieve that goal, my friend. I'm pulling for you. This is Magnolia Bakery, very famous in New York. I'm actually not too big of a fan of it, but a lot of people like it. And also this place. Always packed here. Gopher Hokies. This is in Memphis. Got it. Brad's brain says I'm trying to learn the automatic side of commercial entry door work by the fourth quarter. I want to be able to manage that day to day. Brad, you are a small business owner, right? You own your own shop, which is awesome. More success to you. I love that. RB says, Tom, we are hoping to set manufacturing in Campania by end of year. Wow. Such interesting goals here. JC says, my goal is to stay humble and stack sats and stay solvent. I love that. I'm sure you've heard of Peter Saddington. If you haven't, Peter's such a good guy. Connect with Peter. He's a very good engineer, very smart guy. Yeah, maybe we'll talk offline, but Peter Saddington's a great guy. I think he's in Atlanta now. Very talented engineer, builds a lot of cool products. Lots of interesting software. We are now coming around 59th Street, Columbus Circle. We're gonna be able to see the Deutsche Bank towers. Hey, we have our moderator JL here. What's up, JL? Thanks for joining us. Arby's is southern Italy, close to Napoli. I'm sure you'll achieve it. It's kind of cool to see everybody's goals here. Cars and Sports says I want to close my first pre-construction client. I do renders for real estate. Very cool. You know, maybe we'll make this a thing. I think we'll make this a thing. At the beginning of every quarter, we will jot down our goals in the chat, and then we'll regroup on our what's it called? Our progress towards those goals. Very cool. Luxury Legacy Lane is joining us. It's very nice. Welcome to New York City Central Park. This is the fountain. I always like getting this shot on the live stream because not only you could see a piece of Central Park, you could see the main statue here, and you have the Steinway Tower and 157 in the background with 220 Central Park South. Now, Ken Griffin from Citadel Securities. So Citadel is a major market maker on Wall Street and quantitative hedge fund. He owns about 4 units in this building, or 4 floors in the building, I should say. He's also building a megatall Class A office tower on Park Avenue, adjacent from 270 Park, which is JP Morgan Chase's Jamie Dimon's tower. However, if we think about South Florida, Ken Griffin is also going to build a megatall office tower for his Citadel headquarters, which is now moved from Chicago, Illinois to Miami. We'll be in Miami in 2 weeks. Maybe we'll check out the construction site, see how the progress is rolling out. Kevin Grant says, Tom, I'm from London. That is a place where I really want to go. I really want to go to London. Everybody thinks about New York City being like the financial capital of the world. London is a close to. London is a really close to, and I've not traveled there, and I would love to visit London. That's on my bucket list. And who knows, maybe if we're in London, we could do a stream. I wouldn't know where to go, so I'd need to study a map, but who would tune into a Walks on Wall Street London stream? I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be cool. Hey, Dan says, Tom, I'm going to New York City on Tuesday. Dan, welcome. Says, what are the fun nightlife hotspots? Ooh. Well, I'm not really a nightlife hotspot kind of guy, but I could tell you, depending on your age, now that the colleges are back in session. Oh, this is the kitchen to Jean George's. Look at that. You could actually see all the chefs working. That's such a cool shot. If you're like a college student, I think the East Village is really fun. West Village is very fun. If you go to the NYU, New York University College Town, near MacDougal Street, there's tons of bars, restaurants, comedy clubs, and a lot of people. Also near St. Mark's Place, I think you'd like that a lot as well. Tons of stuff going on, especially with all the college kids back in session. But if you want to send me an email, walkswallstreet@gmail.com, I'll send you a list of restaurant recommendations that I think you'd like. I have like my top 10, I'll send you the list. Hey, Joe Driver says, Tom, you would love London. Best little city and friendly people. Yeah, New York, if I'm walking around New York City and it's fine, I mean, New Yorkers have the stigma of being, mean, which I've never really understood that. Everybody I've come across is really nice. I think I'm pretty nice and inviting. Let's check out 15 Central Park South. It looks like they just paved this road. That's one thing the city's doing a really good job of, is totally revamping a lot of the streets. Not a lot of potholes anymore, so. Hey, DM. Happy Saturday. This is, would enjoy to see you traveling. It's on the bucket list, DM. I really want to travel a lot. I want to go to Korea. So if I had to, let's do this. If I had to list like a top 3 places where I want to go very badly, number 1 would probably be Korea, South Korea. Go around Seoul, all that stuff. Number 2, I'd probably want to go to Rome or maybe Napoli. And then number 3 is probably London, I think. Singapore interests me a lot as well. Singapore is like a futuristic city, very free market, capitalistic society, virtually no crime, and it's very clean. So that would be a nice, a nice change from walking around New York. But yeah, anybody here been to Singapore? I always hear really good things about Singapore. Actually, we'll just do a loop around so you could see the front of the Trump International Hotel and Tower. Japan too, Japan would be great. Switzerland, some people like Switzerland. I'm not a big Switzerland guy. Now this is the entrance to the Trump International Hotel and Tower, but also the residences. You'll notice you have 3 staircases here. The first staircase will lead you to the residences at the Trump International. The second staircase is going to lead you to the hotel. And the third is going to lead you to the Michelin star restaurant, Jean George's. Now, a little bit of a tip for anybody looking to move to New York City and you want great Central Park views. I actually think these 2 buildings right here, 1 Central Park West and 15 Central Park West, which is right here, have better views than many of the buildings on Billionaires Row. I know that's controversial, but I'm gonna explain why. When you're in one of these buildings on Billionaires Row, it is true that you have an unobstructed view of Central Park. That's true, but when you're in 1 Central Park West or 15 Central Park West, you also have unobstructed views of Central Park with unobstructed views of every single architectural marvel that is Billionaires Row. 432 Park Avenue, the Steinway Tower, 157, 220 Central Park South, and Central Park Tower are all of your neighbors, and you could see them unobstructed. Can't say the same thing if you're living in one of them. So that's what I'd recommend. Check out 15 Central Park West and 1 Central Park West if you want superior views of both Central Park and Midtown Manhattan, Billionaires Row. Hey, Steph UF, good to see you. Welcome to New York City and welcome to Central Park. Hey, Hawaii's here. What's up, Hawaii? Triple G says, Tom, I've been around, but I will say Japan, the UAE, and Prague, and Finland remain to be seen. Junior says, I'd go back to Italy. Last visit started in Rome and traveled north through Italy, ending in Prague. It was the best trip of my life. Wow. Let me take a screenshot of that, actually. One of these days we'll hit all of those places, I promise. Hey, Theo is here. He says, your knowledge of the city is superb. Thank you. You know, I saw your book on Twitter. I love that. I love that, sort of like it keeps you on track, goals book. Love that. 10 out of 10. I saw that today. Hopefully you're well. Thanks for joining us. All right, let's curve around Columbus Circle here. Since we've hit some major hotels in the city, let's see the entrance of the Mandarin Oriental. I don't think I have ever showed you on the live stream the front entrance of the Mandarin Oriental Hotel. So let's do that once the light changes. Michael Charlie says, Tom, I have a hunch that Blackstone will build a world headquarters near the world headquarters of JP Morgan Chase on Park Avenue. Well, Blackstone is already there. So you're talking about, you think they're gonna build like a brand new structure? Interesting. I just don't know where they would build it though. I mean, maybe you're right. It would kind of make sense. I mean, Blackstone is one of the most powerful wealth managers in the world, right up there with BlackRock. Now, you guys have been to the Seagram building. I've taken you, yeah, I am right. Sorry, I'm just trying to orient myself here. So right across the street from the Seagram building is Blackstone. It's a little bit of an older office tower. Maybe they would build a new one. I don't know. They just need to find a spot to do it. It's kind of getting crowded there. Hey, Kevin Grant says, Tom, my brother left the university about 7 years ago. First job was for Morgan Stanley, then Commerce Bank, now BNP. It's a pretty good career. It's a good place to start off. That's fantastic. Hey, it is the one and only Safat. from the New York City Walking Show. Good to see you, my friend. Guys, if you haven't checked out my friend Safat's channel, you have to. I think he does a much better job than I do of showing 4K high definition walking tours of the city. I think his videography and cinematography is bar none. So check him out. New York City Walking Show. Always a pleasure to see you. And a fellow CUNY student. Well, I would say I'm a CUNY alumni. He's almost an alumni. Pretty soon. Now here we are. Well, I guess I'll show this first. So this is the front entrance of the Mandarin Oriental, New York. Whenever we're in Miami, if we've done it a couple times, walk over from Brickell to Brickell Key, there is the Mandarin Oriental Miami. This is a 5-star hotel right here on New York City's Columbus Circle. Now the exact address is 80 Columbus Circle. Very expensive hotel, very beautiful. This is sort of the front lobby, but if you go through those sliding doors, which you'll see those the two couple doing it right now, you take the elevator to the second floor, and that's actually the main lobby. It has a very grand lobby, and it also has a dining room, sort of restaurant that overlooks Central Park that has amazing views. And it's right here at 80 Columbus Circle. Has anybody stayed at the Mandarin Oriental who's watching the stream? I've never stayed here. NNB 045, good to see you. It does look beautiful. I don't know if I could afford to stay here though, but it is nice. Animal says, how is the medical care in New York City? Are there lots of hospitals, easy to access physicians? That's a really good question. It's weird. I've been getting that question a lot lately. But New York City has the best medical care in the entire world. The most talented doctors are here. The best medical staff is right here in New York City, particularly for specializations. Now, I've heard of people who have very rare diseases and rare illnesses being flown into New York City to receive the best care. We by far in the state of New York, particularly in New York City, Manhattan, have the best doctors. I would put it up against anywhere in the world. It's right here. Access to physicians. Now we could argue about, the single payer system and, the system we have here in the United States with the insurance, and everything is very expensive. But I will say this. There's really no wait times here. I'm not sure if we have any Canadians in the chat. I'm sure we do. One of the things I've heard about the Canadian system is you can have significant wait times to get appointments. In the US, particularly in New York, all you do is just call the doctor's office and they could shoot you right in there. At least that's been my experience. Anytime I need to go to the dermatologist, I see a specialist in dermatology just due to my vitiligo, my condition. It's just 2 seconds. Wherever I want to go, boom, you're in. But again, that commands a premium. It's expensive, but we by far have the most advanced technology and the best care. I believe Korea is also up there. South Korea has some of the best medical care as well. Adam Luke says the Canadian healthcare system is great until you need to use it. I don't know, I've heard mixed things. I don't really want to make a big statement on it because some people have said it's great, others have said it takes a long time. Again, I'm not Canadian, I don't live there, I've never experienced it, so I don't want to make like a direct conclusion. But any Canadians want to chime in? Anybody who lives in Canada could provide some insight? I mean, I would like to know. The 79 FH. This is a non-trivial percentage of Ontarians have a Oh, don't have a family doctor? DLN 79. CDs is in Canada. Ontario health system is not good, but Quebec is good. Interesting. Wendy England says I have no problems with Canadian healthcare. Well, that's good. I mean, that's what we're rooting for. NMB 045 says the Canadian system is good only when you're literally at risk of dying. Oh my God, what? Carl Roth says, Tom, I used the healthcare card system twice and I got immediate care. Well, that's good. Look, it's probably a hit or miss. And chances are people who have a bad experience, and there's been studies done on this, right? If you have a bad interaction with anything, a product or a service or a system, you're gonna write a bad review and you're gonna rant and rave about it. So, I don't know. Yeah, Hawaii says, I love the Columbus Circle area. It's one of my favorite areas of the city. I used to go to college right around here. All right, we'll give one more panoramic shot and then we'll head down. I'll catch up on some of the comments. Hey, CW says, Tom, what do you typically spend or like to spend per night on a hotel room? Well, I really don't ever stay at hotels anymore. When I was in my previous career in tech sales, selling telecom and software, I would be traveling a lot and I would usually just expense it. But I would pay right around $200 to $250 in any, big city that I would go to up and down the East Coast. I'm trying to think. Yeah, right around there, like $250. Because when you're traveling and, I would go into, another company's office and I would have to give a big presentation and do the whole dog and pony show, buy everybody breakfast, and there's 70 people looking at me and I'm giving a presentation. I don't really like to cheap out on the hotels. I mean, the company could afford to spend $250 if I'm gonna, give a whole big presentation. So I think you need to kind of be well rested. You need to stay in a place that's safe and that's nice and you're gonna have a good night's sleep. I think $250 is fair for business travel. RCE says, do you miss travel status? Not really, honestly. For whatever reason, and I was reading this really good book about sleep. I forget what the name of the book is, but the author of the book was on Joe Rogan's podcast, and he's this doctor that just studies sleep solely. So his specialization is sleep. And again, if I sound like out of touch here, I have no medical history at all. I'm not a medical professional. I just read this guy's book. So take what I say with a grain of salt. But the studies that he's done as to why businessmen and businesswomen who travel get so run down and exhausted is because even though you're sleeping in a nice hotel where it's safe and it's quiet, your brain doesn't get the appropriate sleep because it's in a foreign situation. And you don't notice it, but subconsciously that's what's going on. And I think I agree, because whenever I would travel, even if I would get a full 8 to 9 hours sleep, I would feel absolutely exhausted by the end of the week. After like the third or fourth presentation I gave, even if I slept like 9 hours over the weekend at a hotel, I would just still feel totally exhausted. But when I would go back to sleeping at my house, after 2 or 3 days, I felt like $1,000,000. So the travel can really wear you down. So that aspect I really don't miss. Anybody has ever had similar situation? Like when you travel and you're staying at a hotel or an Airbnb, do you notice you don't get as good rest than if you're staying at your house? Cayenne Pacific says, of course, location affects sleep. I definitely agree with that. Hawaii is very true. Yeah, there's a good podcast on it, and there's a good book. Joel PM says, was your first presentation terrifying? Yes, but when you're really new, like when you're an account executive or something like that, and it also depends on what product you're selling. My last company was a big MSP, so like a managed service provider. So we would go around to other companies and pitch them on why they should use our services. So, and we would go to like companies like an AT&T, a Verizon, a Salesforce, right? And we would pitch their sales reps on why they should use us, right? So it was a big sell on the relationship. And, you know, it could get awkward at times because some of the sales reps already had vendors that they use and they're not interested in hearing what you have to say. But when you're just starting out, they team you up with other people in the company. So you'll be with one of your solutions engineers, or you'll be with, you know, your director of sales. So, I mean, at first, yeah, but oh, look at all these mopeds, man. This is what I was talking about the other night. We have hundreds of these mopeds in the city. All right, let's see what we got here. This is 8th Avenue headed southbound. The humidity is really starting to pick up here. But if you guys are enjoying the live stream so far tonight, feel free to leave a like on the video and hit the subscribe button if you're new. We usually do these streams every night starting at 8:30. This is the Soup Nazi from Seinfeld. I don't think I ever showed you guys this before, but this is the original Soup Nazi. If anybody's ever seen the show Seinfeld, one of my favorite shows of all time, this is it right here. Now, I would say it's gonna sound strange, but I'm a very introverted person. Extremely. I don't like going out partying. I don't really like to interact with too many people. But sometimes introverts make the best salespeople because you kind of get right to the point and get right down to the business. So when I'm in a business setting and I'm presenting something or I'm helping somebody, I don't feel like nervous or introverted. But if it's just a purely social setting where there's like no business involved, it's not like I'm not gonna shine there. It's just like, it's not my deal. I'd much rather be doing something else. I believe this is a hotel, and that has stunning architecture here. Spooky Duck says, do you even need a college degree to be a salesman? Well, it depends on what you're selling. I mean, some sales positions, like one of my good friends who I went to college with, works in pharmaceutical sales, and you need a master's degree depending on the company you work for. He graduated with a forensic science degree from the college I went to, obviously. It all depends on what you're selling. You know, if you're in medical device sales or you're in pharma sales, yeah, you're gonna need, again, depending on the company, but yeah, you're gonna probably need a master's degree if you're dealing with that, right? Pharmaceutical sales, biotech, things like that. But I mean, software sales or telecom sales, tech, whatever, it's hit or miss, depends on the company, right? I would say at the enterprise level, generally they're gonna be looking for a 4-year degree. Now, does it need to be in computer science? No. But it all depends on what you're selling. That's what I would say. Hey, Adam Luke, thank you so much for your very kind $10 donation. Appreciate it very much. And thank you for watching all the way from Canada. We appreciate it. Ooh, look at these. These are really nice fire escapes here. I'll say this, if you want to make a lot of money in sales, it doesn't matter what you're selling. You need to be an absolute expert at what you do and come off and show that sort of bravado to the customer that, holy crap, this guy or girl knows what they're talking about, and I feel like I'm in control, right, when I'm dealing with them. The worst thing possible is to deal with a salesperson that you're kind of on the fence. You're like, oh my God, I don't know if this guy knows what he's talking about. I don't know if he's has experience doing this. I don't know if, I could trust this person with, setting up a whole new CRM system for my company or whatever, right? So I think there's a high correlation, as we're looking at the Central Park Hotel, there's a high correlation with your specialization and your core competency in what you're selling and the amount of money you make. So if you live and you breathe and you freaking hammer on it every day to become an expert in what you're selling, well, you're gonna come off as a total rock star and your customers are gonna love you and they're gonna refer you more business. So increase your talent stack constantly. And if you're selling medical device, I know nothing about that industry, but I'm just giving an example. I would 24/7, 365 study that industry. Like, why is your product superior? And if your product's inferior, well, then what are some other creative ways you can come up with as to why the customer should buy this product over the other? But you gotta have absolute 100% mastery or you're not really gonna make any money. And I think that's why many people don't like sales, because it's hard to get passionate about it, right? If you're selling, a piece of cybersecurity software, if you're not really into cybersecurity and you're not super passionate about it, it's hard to. You're not going to be motivated to reach out to clients. You're not going to be motivated to, make those calls, send out those emails. I think that's the hardest part to it. So find something that you like and sell that. What are you interested in? Do you like tech? Do you like building things? I would say if you have a more engineering mindset, then maybe tech sales or software sales would be good for you, because there's so many different things that go into it. If you're selling a CRM, well, you need to know what other products and services your customer has. Does it integrate with their HRS system? Does it integrate with Workday? Does it integrate with XYZ software? So I think let that avenue of your mind explore that venture. That's what I'd say. Yeah, J49 says no soup for you. We just passed that. All right, where are we, guys? I feel like we've just been walking around in circles. All right, West 54th Street. We're about to walk past Ray's Pizza, one of the most overpriced pizza shops in all of New York City. Hey, Lisa says, are MBAs really worth the cost and time nowadays? If you think yes, then straight from bachelor's or wait. Well, I don't have an MBA, so I can't advise. Would I get one if my company was paying for it? 100%, 100%. I'll say this, if you want to work on Wall Street at a major investment bank or a hedge fund in private equity, venture capital, whatnot, to break in those industries, historically, you have to go to a top 50 school, you have to get the best grades, you have to go that route, get the MBA, all that. But if that's not the path you want to take, and you just want to do something else outside of like big corporate America, working at a big bank, working at big law, then maybe you don't have to do that. But the main three jobs, right, particularly in New York, that are very high paying, is the investment banking industry, big law, and consulting. And generally speaking, that industry, you kind of have to go that route. You got to get the bachelor's, the master's, and the MBA, particularly if you're going to be at one of these big bulge bracket banks, right? Like Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan Chase, things like that. Hey, Joel PM says, you talk about engineers to learn a lot about what you sell. Well, let me scroll back to your comment. They would love for you to do the talking for them. Yeah, I mean, The engineers, I don't know if I just got lucky, but my solutions engineers at my previous two companies have been like, I mean, they could definitely pass for sales guys. They are like super sharp. I've heard otherwise at other companies, but where I was, I mean, my engineers were ridiculously smart, super talented, very highly educated, and they had all of the charisma of a salesperson, and they were very direct. Maybe I just got lucky, I don't know. This is the Sheraton Hotel. They also remodeled this during the virus, during COVID. Hey, sunshine after rain, what's up? Oh, was that the fake Ray's? I think Ray's Pizza is no good. I mean, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but they charge almost $4 for a regular slice, and it's not good pizza. Now, if you're coming to New York City and you want good pizza with no wait, I'm talking about like zero line at all, you have to go to the Upper West Side of Manhattan and check out this place called Made in New York Pizza. It's very good. There was some controversy about the place. Sorry, check this out. You have the Sheraton Hotel, and then in the corner, you have a pretty cool shot of Times Square. It's an interesting contrast. It's a cool shot. But anyway, there was some controversy between two very notable pizza joints in Manhattan. Number one is Prince Street Pizza, which just so happens to be down in Soho, and Made in New York Pizza, which is on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. They actually now have two locations. And allegedly, right, I still think the litigation is ongoing, but allegedly the owners of Made in New York Pizza allegedly stole the recipe from Prince Street for the spicy pepperoni slice. And it kind of does taste the same. I mean, I've had both. At Prince Street Pizza, the spicy pepperoni slice tastes exactly the same as the one it Made in New York, which is good for me because at Prince Street Pizza, you have to wait like an hour and a half to get your food. At Made in New York, you get it automatically. So that's what I would suggest. Upper West Side of Manhattan is fantastic for pizza. And since it's more residential and there's not a lot of tourists, you don't have to wait like 2 or 3 hours. A prime example, as we head down to Times Square, I'm sure I've all showed you guys Joe's Pizza over here. It would be a good experiment to go to Joe's tonight, and I can almost guarantee you, as we are walking past the French investment bank, BNP Paribas, that the line is going to be down the block and around the corner. 787 7th Avenue. I'll tell you a quick story about this French bank here. Unfortunately, I think this was 2016. A helicopter crash landed on the roof of BNP Paribas, and they had to evacuate the whole block. And unfortunately, the pilot of the helicopter passed away. I remember that day because I was working not too far away from here. My old office was in the Marsh McLennan building, and that was really crazy. I don't know what happened, but it was said that the pilot may have not gotten the warnings for takeoff. Those of you who are unfamiliar with Manhattan, a lot of the helipads are on the west side, right on the West Side Highway. And it was a super foggy day. And usually, if the weather is a certain amount, they have no fly for helicopters. I guess that guy didn't see that. And he couldn't see where he was going, and he crashed on the top of the BNP Paribas. It was horrible, and unfortunately he passed away. It could have been a lot worse. I mean, imagine if he crashed on street level. That would have been a really bad tragedy. Winter Garden is here. I don't know what this is. Looks like a musical. Do you guys remember the live stream where we saw Hugh Jackman right here? Anybody remember that? I know Yeah, not a lot of people know that, but back in the day, a plane crashed into the side of the Empire State Building. Michael Josephs is Bill Ackman. No, I think Hugh Jackman. Did I say Bill Ackman? I probably did. But no, we were right here, and that guy, Hugh Jackman. Is that even his name? I think he's one of the most famous actors of all time. Maybe I'm getting his name wrong. Anyway, this is the Barclays Investment Bank right here on West 50th Street. Now, what's notable about the Barclays Investment Bank is this used to be Lehman Brothers, which was the major bank that collapsed to set off the great financial crisis. The former CEO of Lehman Brothers was Dick Fuld, and he was wild guy. One of the most famous Dick Fuld videos of all time is when he was addressing all of the Lehman Brothers employees. He was like, you know what? A lot of market participants have very big short positions out on our stock. He's like, but that's okay, because what I really want to do is I want to rip out their hearts and eat it before they die. And he said it in front of like all of his employees, and everybody was like, whoa, dude, a little weird. But he was a old school, no nonsense, classic Wall Street CEO. West 49th Street, Times Square looks packed tonight. Hey, Theo, since Hugh started